gratitude. I think it's a great philosophy and a great way to take everyday life.
There we
So,
go.
I've been in Fort McMurray for, it's going to be 26 years. I started working at Suncor. I was there for about 5 years as a contractor. Then I went, as I was there, I started going to school at Keanu College. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get some Canadian education, Canadian certifications. I had only just been in the country for a year. I
Okay.
was learning English, etc., etc. So went to did my 5 years at Sancor, then left, became a full-time student at Keanu.
Right.
And once I finished there, I went to the municipality and I started there as a computer technician. And
Right.
when I left in 2005 to do real estate, I was a network analyst there.
Okay.
So I had the fortune of raising my family here and having the opportunity to grow immensely,
Right.
uh, professionally, personally. So yeah, very grateful with
There
this
we go.
community.
And now
Yes,
you are still a real estate agent here in town.
yes, yeah.
And so if people are trying to get in contact with you, what's the name? What's the number? How can people reach out to you?
Uh, Very good question. Very easy to find me, Julio Florez. Um, Julio. I just don't call myself.
Yeah.
I always say to people, I just don't look like Julio.
Okay.
So I always say Julio.
Okay.
Uh, Very easy to find on social media, online. Julio Flores. I have always been with the same company, Royal LePage.
Okay.
I love my company. It's a Canadian company that has been here for almost 120 years. Started in Quebec City by Monsieur LePage. So yeah, always with the same company. We do a lot of work throughout the country with a big foundation. Some people may know me for that because of the treks and trips that I've done out of the country,
Right.
raising funds for our local shelter here.
There you go.
Yeah, so
So you mentioned something about your
yes.
story which I find super interesting. So you move to Fort McMurray, you get a job out at site, and I think
Yes.
that's what most people try to achieve when they're coming here. May they be immigrants or people coming from different provinces.
Yes.
You get that site job, and then you're like, okay, I'm getting good money, we're done. And that's kind of where the story ends. They work out at site and they have great lives. You decided to go back to school, which is kind of different for most people's journey. Why did you decide to leave site and then start to get re-educated?
It was my intent to get. I have always believed in education. I come from a mother that had no education whatsoever, but always very insistent in education. So I just carried that inside me. It's just part of
Okay.
what I do. So I wanted to get some Canadian credentials. I have a degree in police sciences from Colombia. I was a police officer there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my background there. I was a police officer. Then I went to Cambodia. I was a peacekeeper with the United Nations. And
Wow.
shortly after, I came to Canada, and I wanted to get my Canadian certification. So I started going to Keanu part time.
Right.
So grateful for Keanu that gave me that opportunity. Then came a point when I had to make a decision whether I will not pursue my education or get out and be a full-time student, enroll as a full-time student. So, with the support of, my planning, my then lovely wife and all of that, decided, okay, it was time to just get out and be a full-time student. So I did, and I finished my diploma in computer information systems.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay. Man, I this is why I love doing the show. I got to find out so
thank
much
you.
about individuals that I would never know. You were a police officer and a peacekeeper.
Yes, yes, I was.
Wow, that is something else. And you went to Cambodia.
I was in Cambodia. Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that journey. What drew
Okay.
you to law enforcement and then transitioning into peacekeeping?
Moving into peacekeeping was a thing that happened through the fact of that I was a police officer.
Right.
There was a mission to Cambodia with the United Nations, and they were recruiting officers, and there were two requirements: one, not to have any disciplinary proceedings against you; number two, to have some knowledge of English. And I was way above everybody else because I could say yellow, door, table.
Okay.
So I ended up going to Cambodia in '92. And
Okay.
because in Colombia I was a lieutenant, there I went as a deputy district commander for one of the provinces there.
Right on.
So yeah, and initially was for 3 months,
Hmm.
transition time 3 months. Short of the story is I ended up being there for 18 months.
Oh, wow.
I was 24 and it was just an incredible experience. But at the end of the 18 months, it was time for me. I had to say, I'm sorry, I cannot.
Right.
In my
Right.
broken English.
Yeah, and you're broken English. Well, you could say yellow and door, right?
Yes.
So after that, like
Yes.
what and how did you hear about Fort McMurray? What brought you to this community out of all the places in the world, from Colombia to all of your travels?
Um, there I met my wife
In Colombia.
in Cambodia,
Oh, no
and
way.
yes, we met there. Yeah, she's still a local lawyer here in town,
Hmm.
and then it was truly love that made me make that decision to move to Canada. I left my career there,
Hmm.
and I came to Canada in '94.
Right.
Yeah, just to was looking forward to a new place. I came to Toronto actually to visit,
Hmm.
and I really felt it was just the right place for me. It was a Saturday morning, June, and I took a walk through downtown with some people. And as I was walking through downtown Toronto, I just felt an immense peace and comfort, and it just I said, i'm I'm coming. I want to move here.
Hmm.
At that point we were planning to move to Colombia. I was about to go train with the FBI,
Okay.
and but we decided to move, and the question was, so what will you do with your career, with what all that you're doing? I said, well, I'll start all over again.
Right.
And so we did. So
Nice.
we did, yeah. So I wanted to go to, I perhaps I don't want to take over the conversation, but
No, this is
I,
it's your conversation. That's why I'm listening. I'm enthralled.
I wanted to go to school
Right.
in Toronto, but I wrote my COPE or Certificate of Proficiency in English test
Hmm.
5 times.
Okay.
I failed 5 times. Then I applied to the Toronto Police, and I passed everything but English.
Right. Right.
So it was kind of in my cards,
Right.
through one of Christine's relative. There was a connection, a potential opportunity for a job here. I was
Hmm.
quite desperate
Right.
in Toronto, and we had a little one at the time, and no real prospects of education or a job. So said, let's go. And
Yeah.
we came to Formac. I remember that day
That's
like
amazing.
yesterday. So almost 26 years later, and here I am.
There
Yeah,
you
I'm
go.
so happy and glad and thankful for McMurray. It's been an incredible place,
So can
for
you
sure.
elaborate on that in
Yes.
regards to you felt this overwhelming amount of calm, and obviously you like Toronto and then the country of
Yes.
Canada, and then you've decided to come to Fort McMurray, which could not be as opposite from Toronto as you can
Yes.
imagine. So what about Fort McMurray has kept you in the community for so many years?
Definitely the people. I think right from the get go, it was always this comforting feeling. Like I come from a city of 10 million people, Bogota, and we were about 35,000 people when I came here. But everyone at Sancor wanted to ask me questions, wanted to know about me. People were curious about me. I don't think there was a whole lot of immigration happening at that point here to Fort McMurray.
Right.
So it was just the love, just the love, just the good feeling in the community. I wanted to go to school. Keanu was fantastic. I could start at night, and then I moved to being a full time there. Then while I was there, I moved to work to the municipality. It was just tremendous. And being at the municipality,
Mm-hmm.
at one of the training sessions that they offered there, you may remember that P2P.
Yes, I do.
You
Yeah.
remember that
Yes, I
training?
do. Yeah.
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 It was at one of those trainings, Elliot, that it was this very dynamic instructor lady that was teaching the class. And she asked the question, are you really doing what you want to do in your life?
Okay.
It was so,
And then she got you on that one.
I really took that, I really took that to heart.
Right.
And, and even though I had spent so long to get my education and to find a job in the field, and I was progressing, I was getting more tickets, and I was progressing in my computer career,
Right.
that really stunned me.
Mm.
And I started searching and just doing things, and my curiosity led me into learning about home equity lines of credit, and then life insurance, universal insurance, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout that, I discovered that that was not quite for me, in the sense of the commitment that it meant to people to stay around them forever, and follow their lives and make sure that their life insurance policies change accordingly to the changes in their lives, etc. I
Right.
thought, I don't think I can do this properly.
Mm-hmm.
But that led me into learning about home equity lines of credit. So then I started looking into that, purchased a place in Calgary back then
Mm-hmm.
in 2005, and that led me to think uh, maybe I could get a license
Yeah.
and save myself some money for the lawyer's fees.
Right.
And
Then it snowballed from
and
there.
yes, yeah, I went and ordered my material while I was at the municipality,
Yeah.
and I prepared every day. We had two young kids, but I was able to just prepare while I was going to the municipality every morning. 5 in the morning, weekends, and within about 10 weeks, I was done with my material. I was super fast. It may take longer,
Right. Right.
but I was a bit of a gun ho. I really enjoyed the material, reading it and just going through it, and got my license. Next thing, I went to Royal LePage, and I told the broker, I said, I I just passed my exam to become a real estate agent. I left there within half an hour, and I realized that she had hired me.
There you go. That's not a
so,
bad meeting.
so I went home and took the kids out for supper, and I said, "Hey guys, what do you think if I did this?"
Mhm.
Of course,
Right.
I had them at Boston Pizza.
I was just gonna ask, what do you remember? What restaurant you took them to? Okay, Boston Pizza.
I had
Nice.
them at Boston Pizza there, and I told them, yes, I could do this. I could have more time to do this, or this is what it will entail. Sort of. I didn't know exactly.
Right.
Of course, my guys were, all happy, and with their pizza, their ribs. I'm pretty sure ribs. My
Okay.
son loved ribs. They were into that, and they just said, "Great, yeah, go ahead, do it."
That's awesome. I love it. I
Next
love
day, I
it.
went to the municipality and I put in my resignation.
There we go. And the rest is
Yeah,
history.
yes, sir.
Very cool. Okay. Well, we're at the part of the show where Tanner is going to ask you some questions.
Yes, okay.
All right. We call this the Mac City Minute.
Okay.
Tanner, you got your questions ready, my man?
Yes, I do.
All right. Let's hear them.
All right. Question number one for you. How is one way Fort McMurray is similar to where you grew up?
That's a good question. How's Fort
No.
McMurray similar to Columbia?
No, no, so different.
Mhm.
We have humans,
Yeah.
same way, but yeah, no, totally different. whether infrastructure back then, language, the time the sun came out and the time the sun, went down. I came here in the middle of the winter, so yeah, not really. I can't think of anything.
Humans is the answer.
Yeah,
We both have
humans,
humans.
yeah.
Okay.
Question number 2. What is your favorite way to spend an afternoon in Fort McMurray?
On the Birchwood trails, 100%.
Okay.
At any time of the year, cold, wet, sunny, those trails, our trails in general in Fort McMurray.
Question number 3. How has being a police officer in Colombia helped you with life in Fort McMurray?
As life goes on, I realize more and more that one thing that I got from being a police officer was that desire to serve. That desire to serve, to do things for the community that you live in, to serve people, to be a resource to people. That comes from the police. I learned that very young. You have to, from the beginning, the philosophy was you have to become a community leader. You have to be this. You have to be all kinds of things in a community. I have not done even a small fraction of what I was intended to train us, but yeah.
Question number 4. When you got to Canada, how was it different than you were expecting?
I always thought it would be nice and beautiful. It was even nicer. just that first day in Toronto, that Saturday morning, I'll never forget it. Yeah. I love Toronto. I love Canada. I love being here. It was just great.
And your last question, how does your prior careers help you as a real estate broker?
My son used to say this, that everything is a compilation of knowledge, and he always saw me as just doing that, but he is the one that verbalized it for me, that I think we just keep accumulating experiences and things, and sometimes even though we may say, what is this going to help me, I don't think we need to get an answer for that. I think we just need to appreciate that we got that experience, because it's going to come up at some point.
Those have been your 5 questions.
There we go. Tanner, good questions, my man.
Thank you very much.
You never cease to amaze me with these questions.
I try my best.
Yeah, man. So you mentioned something within those 5 questions that I just want to build on a little bit. I grew up here, as I think everybody knows. I spent an insane amount of time of my childhood in the Birchwood Trails, doing everything from running to tobogganing to you name it. What is your pastime in the Birchwood Trails? Are you a cross-country skier? Are you a runner? Like, what are you doing in the trails?
I run, I walk, I take my bicycles there.
Okay.
Yeah, I cross-country ski at some point. I've been meaning to take it on again, but just mainly running, walking, biking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're beautiful for that.
Oh, incredible.
Beautiful.
The open skies, the different sceneries, they're really beautiful.
Yeah, you can't beat it. Okay, well, on that note, 20 minutes, we're done. It flies. So before I let you go today, please, most people are, and yourself included, they're humble. They don't like to talk about themselves and what they do. But at the end of the show, I like to give my guests an opportunity to plug their business and who they are. So one more time, please tell the people at home who you are, what you do, and how they can get in contact with you.
I am Julio Florez, a citizen of this community. I believe it is my professional approach that working in real estate, I always want to sell a community, a home, not just bricks and mortar. In terms of promoting and selling, I think you always have to sell a community. Number one, if you're trying to sell, my approach is always preparation, preparation, preparation. I had been blessed with the career that I finally landed with. is the longest career I've done, and I've done a few different things. And I ask that I can do it till at least I'm 75 because I have so much fun with it, and I get to meet people and enjoy people like all of this.
That's
So
awesome.
it's awesome. Thank
Great.
you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So on that note, we came to the end. But before we sign off, I want to say thank you. You brought a nice gift for me today, some hand sanitizer. So I know myself and Tanner love when people bring us little gifts and little trinkets. So
Gifts are the best.
thank you very much for bringing this. I do appreciate it. And thank you more for taking the time and coming to chat with us today. I hope to have you back again and again because we didn't even scratch the surface of who you are and all the different questions that I had for you today.
My pleasure. It is an honor, and yeah, with much humility, thank you very much for thinking of me.
Great. There we go. All right. Well, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world, because I know we are getting some views outside of Alberta and Canada. Thank you very much once again for tuning in. From the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Stay where you're to till it comes where you're at. Or tune in again to the Mac City Morning Show.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your